Okay, hello. So in this video, I'll be talking about a short work of fiction called An Unfortunate Duelist by Raymond Smullyan from his 1980 collection, This Book Needs No Time. And the story follows a man, a dualist, so someone who believes the mind and body are completely separate. And this man, he's in unbearable pain, wants to die for personal reasons, but can't bring himself to do it for moral, religious, and personal reasons. And then he discovers a miracle drug. And what this drug does, it destroys the soul entirely while leaving the body completely intact and functioning normally. So nobody in your life can tell that you have taken this drug, essentially. And he's thrilled. He goes to sleep that night feeling relief for the first time in years, knowing that he can end his suffering. And he plans to take the drug in the morning. And that night, plot twist, a friend sneaks in and injects him with the drug while he's asleep, because he's a good friend. And the next morning, the now soulless body wakes up, goes to the drugstore, buys the drug anyway, takes it, and then waits for relief. It does everything that everything that the soulful body would. And it then gets furious, because nothing changed. He's still suffering. From the outside, it looks like he's suffering. And the soul is completely convinced from the outside that it still has a soul. And that's the whole philosophical argument. And here's where my Intro to Phil course knowledge comes in. So in our class, we talked about Descartes' dualism as described in our lecture slides. It's the argument that the universe contains two fundamentally different kinds of stuff. So it contains res extensa, physical matter that exists in space and is divisible, and res cogitans, the mind, which is immaterial and has no location in space, no shape, and no physical properties whatsoever. So Descartes is arguing basically that the body is a machine and the immaterial mind operates it. So he argues that there's a cause and effect relationship between the mind and the body. And then we read about, in our class, we read about Princess Elizabeth of Bohemia, an actual princess, who in her correspondence with Descartes raised what our slides called the problem of mental causation. So what her argument and her rebuttal is, movement happens because things are pushed by other things, by virtue of the laws of physics, or because of the shape and surface of objects, by virtue of the laws of physics. So if the soul moves the body through contact, it must be material. If it moves the body through shape, it must also be material. But Descartes defines the soul as non-extended and immaterial. Therefore, an immaterial soul can never cause the body to move, which is what Princess Elizabeth argued. And our slides framed this as the Casper the Ghost problem. So you can imagine Casper the Ghost, and he can't pass through walls and pick up a book. It's a contradiction. And you can't be immaterial and causally interact with physical stuff. And Descartes' response, as we covered, was the pineal gland. He said that the pineal gland, a gland in your brain, was the gateway between the mind and the body, but even he was dissatisfied with this explanation. And our slides noted this doesn't really answer the problem so much as relocate it. So what does Smullyan's fable have to do with all of this? Princess Elizabeth, she attacks dualism from one direction. The immaterial can't reach into the physical, and Smullyan attacks it from the exact opposite direction. He's asking, what if we remove the soul entirely? If the body keeps doing everything it was doing before, suffering, going to the drugstore, feeling convinced it still has a soul, then the soul, it wasn't causing any of that in the first place. It was never doing causal work. And together, these two arguments, they form a kind of pincer movement against sub-dualism. And Elizabeth says the immaterial can affect the physical. Smullyan shows that removing it changes nothing, and both expose the same crack in the foundation of Descartes' dualism argument. And as our slides concluded, Descartes' dualism has a serious problem, and it has never been fully solved. And that is basically this video. Thank you for watching.